Yes, forgot to record. So, talking about greatest common factors. So, when we divide by 4, I'm going to write whatever number, that greatest common factor that I divided by, I'm going to write it out front. Okay? Then, I'm just going to divide. So, 4x squared divided by 4, 4 divided by 4 is just 1. You just get x squared. You can put a 1 in front of it if you want. You don't have to. All right. Passion, what do we get when we do that? Negative 12x divided by 4. What should be with it? X. Still have that x there. And then, Vince, what do we get for the last one? Plus 2. Okay? For right now, we're going to learn how to do something further than this. We're going to learn how to factor it even further than this, and this one actually will factor further. But for right now, we're stopping here. Okay? So it's like we have the answer from the problems on the quiz, and we're going backwards to the question. Now, I can check really easily to see if this is right. So, to check, I would just take 4 times x squared minus 3x plus 2, and I'd multiply it back, right? 4 times x squared gives me 4x squared. 4 times negative 3x gives me negative 12x, and 4 times 2 gives me 8. And so I would know, yes, that is correct. Okay, questions? All right, if you have your computers open, shut those. You do not need your computers right now. Or really for the rest of the class, you can put them away if you want. Okay, we okay here? All right, for example 2. Remember now the x has a 1 in front of it. What's my greatest common factor? It's just 1, which really doesn't change anything. 1, 2, and 5, they don't have any common factors that are going to actually change anything, right? The 1, I could divide by 1, but it wouldn't change anything. However, this does have another part of the common factor. So on this first one, I didn't do anything with my x's. The reason I didn't do anything with my x's is because 8 didn't have any x's. So I couldn't take any x's away from 8 because there were none there. But here, I've got an x. I've got 3 x's right here. I've got 2 x's right here. And I've got an x right here. So we can take out whatever the lowest exponent is on our x, as long as every term has an x with it. So I could divide all of these by x to the first power. Okay, so whatever it is I'm dividing out, I'm going to write that x out front. All right, so sometimes it'll be numbers and letters. Here it's just that x. And so what do we do when we're dividing? What do we do with those exponents? We subtract, right? So I had 3 x's. I took 1 away. I've got 2 left. For that second term, I've got the 2 just stays where it's at. I had 2 x's. I took 1 away. I just have 1 x left. For the last one, I'll have the plus 5. I had 1 x. I took that 1 x away. So there's no x's left with that 5. So this will be our answer here. Okay, you can only take x's out if you have x's with every term. All right, so if that was just a plus 5 on the end, we wouldn't be able to take out anything. What do we call a number when it can't be divided by anything except for 1 in itself? Yeah, prime. Prime. So we would also, if we have one that won't factor anything out, we could just call it prime. We could use that same term for these expressions here. But this one factors, so we don't need that. Okay? Let's look at these here. So, Caroline, for 16x to the 4th and 12x squared, what would our greatest common factor be? Okay, can we divide both numbers by 16? No, can't divide 12 by 16. What's the biggest number I could divide both of those by evenly? What do you think, Wade? 4. Yeah, 4. So 4 is the biggest number I can divide by. And then, what will go with it, Owen? An x to the second. So, both of these have x's. I'm going to take whatever my lowest exponent is. I can't take 4 x's away because I've only got 2 right here. Right. So, whatever that least common, greatest common factor is, I'm going to write it out front. And I'm going to put a set of parentheses. And so, Hank, whenever I divide 16x to the 4th by 4x squared, what will I get?
4x squared.
Very good. And what about the 12x squared divided by 4x squared? Very good. Just minus 3. So when you have x squared on top and bottom, it's just going to cancel out because you'll get 0 x's left there. Here we had 4 x's, we took 2 away, we got 2 left. Yes?
How do you get 4x?
So right here, you're going to divide the big numbers, the coefficients. So 16 divided by 4 gives me that 4 there. And then I had 4 x's on the top. These 2 on the bottom, take 2 away from that because we subtract our exponents there. So I had 4 x's, I took 2 away, and that means I've got 2 left. Okay, here. All right, Katie, what about number 4? What is our greatest common factor for number 4? What? 3? Can I take any x's out, Katie? Just 1. So your lowest exponent here for the x would just be that 1. So we're dividing everything by 3x. So, Passion, whenever I divide by 3x, what am I going to get here for that first term?
6x. Second term.
Very good. What about the next one?
Negative 3x to the
Just the x, because it'll be the first power. Very good. What about the last?
not x.
There will be no x's. Will there be a number?
Just not.
Hmm?
1.
It's going to be a 1. What's 3 divided by 3?
Oh my Jesus.
1. So, I'm glad that you said nothing, though, because what a lot of students do right here is they just cancel those out. And when they cancel it out, they think it's gone completely. If everything cancels, there's still a 1 there because something divided by itself is still 1. If you don't have that 1 there, so if we got an answer of 3x times 6x squared minus 3x, don't write this down because it's wrong. But if we just got that, if we left the 1 off, when we multiplied back, here we'd get 3 times 6 is 18. We'd have x to the third. And then 3x times 3x, give me negative 9x squared. But I wouldn't have that plus 3x on the end that I need, so I would know it was incorrect. So whenever you have something completely cancel out, you still have to put a 1 there. Okay? All right, let's look at 5. Alright, so, Julian, are there any numbers I can divide all of those by for those coefficients? 2, 8, and 7? No. So you do not have a greatest common factor as far as that. You want to look at x's and y's separately. So you're looking for your lowest exponent of your x's. Here I've got 2 x's, here I've got 2 x's, but here I've only got 1. So I can only take out a single x. And then for y's, I've got 3 here, I've got 4 here, I've got 2 here. So my lowest is 2. So I could take out 2 y's. So I would have that xy squared written out front. And then the numbers aren't going to change, the coefficients aren't going to change, but I had 2 x's, I took 1 away, so that just leaves me with a single x. I had 3 y's, I took 2 away, I just have a single y right there. For that next term, Vince, what will we get for our x's and y's? So here we had 2 x's. We took 1 away. How's that? How many does that leave us? What? On the wrong one. We'll have a y squared. We'll also have an x right there. So we'll have x, y squared. So we had 2. We took 1 away. We just have 1 left. We had 4. We took 2 away. We just have 2 left there. Good. And Vince, what will we get for that last one? Just -7. Because the x is canceled and the y is canceled, so we just have that 7 left. Okay. Questions? All right. We got a couple more. For 6, Alyssa, what number could I divide both of those by? 4. Can I take any x's? No, because that 12 does not have an x with it, so I cannot take out an x. So I have 4, and then 8x divided by 4 will give me 2x. 12 divided by 4 will give me 3. And then, lastly, I got nothing here, right? I can't divide. I got 7, 5, and 3. They do not have a common, greatest common factor. And then that 3 right there doesn't have an x with it, so I can't pull out any x's either. So this is where, if we see this, and I think I set your worksheet to where it may have some of these on here, if you can't do anything with it, you could just put the word prime, meaning that it will not factor any further. You can't factor out anything. Okay, so your homework is going to be a worksheet